Welcome, everyone, to Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders. I am Betska, the Guru Coach, together with my amazing host, Raj Vashisht. And our beautiful guest here today is Cynthia Torres. Let me tell you a bit about Cynthia. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist, is a Colombian American who has resided in Ventura County for over 25 years. That's in California, leaving an indelible mark in service to our vibrant and dynamic Latinx population. She's the founder of the local for-profit business New Dawn Counseling and Consulting, Inc., and has recently assumed leadership of the beloved 30-year-old nonprofit City Impact, Inc. She provides a therapeutic and affordable service model, and Cynthia's mission is to diversify funding sources, thereby creating a stable and distinctive operational model that embodies the nonprofit ethos. What really sets Cynthia apart is her ability to blend a business-minded perspective with a deep commitment to social impact. I love her mantra. It is to enhance opportunities for economically vulnerable Latinx individuals, empowering them to raise their voices and take control of their destinies. Wow. Love it. Thank God you're here, Cynthia.
Thank really you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. So, you've got these two organizations. Wow, you're one busy gal. So what keeps you impassioned and your staff motivated to serve this Hispanic population, which is high, right? I think it's like close to 50% of the
yes, here in California
population. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So first of all, I am going to be very honest, and part of it is realizing that I am unable to serve people that I don't feel connected with. And of course, being a Latina myself, it really helps me try to understand the complexities of the Hispanic population here in the United States. And so it just is close to my heart to be able to support other people that are Latinos, to be able to really create opportunities and be able to be motivated to continue working together. And so you were wondering what keeps me motivated to continue serving this population. And part of it is when we have a very clear mission and vision, it kind of inspires us. And so again, going back to the idea of really coming from the heart and being mission driven. Once we have, I am a very goal-oriented person. Once we have the goal in mind, we want to get to wherever, New York, whatever it is, then it really allows us to line everything up to be able to get to that place. And even if we're taking one step at a time, then knowing that we're getting a little bit closer to our goal definitely keeps people motivated and impassioned who keep on working towards that goal.
So give me an idea of what you would do for the Latinx community on a daily basis. How do you help them? How do you serve them?
Yes, so the majority of our programs are related to mental health services, and part of that is we conceptualize the human being more from a holistic perspective. And with that being said, we actually just had a financial empowerment class last night with some of our parents here. And knowing that it's not about the resource, the financial resource per se, but the relationship that we establish with that financial resource. And that relationship comes from our parents, our family, our friends, maybe our religious beliefs, and understanding where we come from. Then we're going to be able to make strides towards changing it if we feel that that's something that is creating more of a block for us. And so it's a beautiful opportunity to talk about how do we change our thought process Yet it also has to do with how do we change our environment that is going to support that? How do we change our physical practices in terms of nutrition, movement, sleep, that are going to help us go towards that goal? So looking at the human being from a holistic, integrative perspective has been something that empowers the work that we do, because we're not saying we're the experts, we know it all. The client that we're working with is the one that knows it all, and they have their own healing tools that we need to just tap onto that and be able to bring up those components that they are so knowledgeable of and bring it to balance. So that's why I love the example of talking about financial literacy, because usually when we talk about mental health, we don't go to financial literacy.
No, you wouldn't. Not necessarily.
Uh-huh. But
Wow.
when you are looking at the person as a whole, then it is a small bridge to be able to have that conversation.
I'm curious, like, what percentage of your clientele would be women versus men versus children?
The majority of people that we serve are youth. And with that,
wow.
yeah, males usually are more easily referred to our services, because usually the boys are the ones that are getting in trouble because of aggressive behavior, not following the instructions from the teacher, and being a little bit more disruptive. So we have a little bit higher population with youth and males, definitely.
Wow. And do you think that some of their challenges come from the fact that they're Latinx, that because of their, you think? Yeah.
Yes, it's a very particular situation that I would say that is not only with the Latinx community. Again, that is my passion and the population that I'm working with. Yet I think that every group of immigrants is going to be suffering kind of that same, they kind of are at the bottom of the totem pole, if you want to call it that way. So I saw the same example in Colombia with people migrating from Venezuela. So even though they have the same language, they are looked upon as if they were not as good as Colombian people, just because of their legal status. And so I think that is something that every migrant population and every migrant group is going to experience. So right now, because they become the most underserved and most vulnerable population within our community, because we have a big influx of the migrant population from the Hispanic community.
And the youth would feel confused, who are they? Why are they here? Why are they being bullied? All those sorts of questions, right?
Yes, they have a hard time finding a sense of identity that really represents something positive. One of my past clinical supervisors was sharing with me that she wanted to become a doctor, but she never applied to become a doctor because of her fear that she wasn't good enough to be able to get to that.
Right.
And I think it's this message that is given to the Latino population all the time that we're not good enough. We shouldn't even try.
Oh, wow.
And so it's deeply, deeply rooted. So when we're trying to change, is really going back to the core of who they are and saying, hey, you matter. You're valued. You are bringing a lot to the table. We want to hear your voice. Your diversity and where you come from is really important for us to be able to hear it and come to the table, talk to us, so we could include you.
And the law of equality, the universal law of equality, says that in God's eyes, we are all equal.
Yes.
It's just that humans have kind of messed that up, So, I'm curious, Cynthia, as a Colombian-born and first-generation American businesswoman, what barriers did you have to overcome in your career?
So,
Tell me. I'm all ears here. I'm so excited to hear about this. Yeah, tell us.
Um, as you can see, is because I look different, even though I am fair skinned, that there is a level of discrimination that we are always facing because I have an accent, because I am a woman of color. The possibility of accessing resources is not the same. It's really a steep ladder to be able to really get to the table, to be able to share with other people what my opinion is. And so I think that there are a lot more doors and maybe locked doors that you need to knock on and try to get through to be able to bring your voice up and raise your voice and bring the importance of what you are bringing to the table, what your perspective is. So they are able to see it from a 360 empathy place, not only from their very specific view of lens that they have.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I would love to continue this conversation in part 2, and so we'll be right back with Cynthia Torres.